Alright guys, so welcome to part 2 of the Wolfpack navigation, instrument navigation, as well as ILS approach tutorial. So right now I'm at Angels 10 or 10,000 feet and trying to maintain about 300 knots, just over waypoint 2. And we've just picked up, if I switch over to waypoint 5, which is the waypoint for Kimpo, you can see that we're 19 miles away. And interesting thing about Kimpo's TACAN is it only has a 25-mile radius. So right now, we'll go ahead and call in. I've already tuned Kimpo Tower on 240.9, and I'll call him in. I'll get a wind check and then call in down.
Lobo 21, Kimpo approach 030 at 23 knots.
Okay, so 030 at 23. Alright, so it's coming from 030 at 23 knots. So we're going to have a pretty significant right crosswind when we're landing on, if we're landing on runway 31. So let's see what runway he gives us. I'll just call inbound.
Lobo 21, descend to 3000, maintain 240 knots, turn right heading 075,
altitude,
runway 32 right.
Down to 3000, right to 070. We'll have vectors for runway 32 right. We'll go 21. Okay, so there's the runway. I know that the runway is right, or the airport is there. And what we're doing right now is just following what's called radar vectors, okay, or vector navigation. And essentially what it is that the ATC is tracking us on radar, and they're putting us in a position to line up with the runway. Okay, it's a little bit weird at first if you've never done it, but you got to trust that the ATC will actually get you to where you need to go. And BMS's ATC is actually pretty decent, and they'll get you exactly where you need to go. So as long as you follow the directions and don't panic and just go, I'm just going to turn towards the airport now and try to see if I see it, end up being a big orange fireball on the ground. Just follow their directions, stay calm. And you can see that it's important to set up everything. So right now, well, I should have done this before, but Kimpo, it's 32 right is 110.7.
Lobo 21, descend to 3000, maintain 260 knots, turn right heading 080.
Right to 080, down to 2000, Lobo 21. Okay, so Kimpo 32 right here is 110.7. So again, we go 1, and we'll go 110.70, enter. And then since we're landing on 32, I'm just going to go 320 for the course. Okay. And really we should have done that, at altitude before we started descending.
Lobo 21, maintain 280 knots, vectors to left base, runway 32 right.
280 knots, vectors for runway 32 right, Lobo 21. Okay, so right now he just wants me to keep coming down to 3000. Okay, I'm going to switch over to ILS TACAN mode, and we're 7 miles from the runway here. And since this is on 320, you want to adjust this to the runway heading. This represents the runway, and we also have the ILS bars on the HUD as well. I'm not going to extend gear at any point until he clears me for final, and you want to be very careful about your altitude. You don't want to get low, you don't want to get disoriented. You want to keep a good scan going.
Maintain 290 knots, turn left heading 075.
Left to 075, 290 knots, level 2. Okay, so right here we're pretty well established. I know that if I'm at 3000, I'm getting close to the runway. He'll clear us down to 2000 when we are getting even closer and more aligned. But just keep following the vectors. Imagine it's dark right now. You can't see anything. Okay, we can see a little bit of the ground, but not much. So just keep following his directions and trust. that he's going to get you to exactly where you need to go. Okay, so there, see that vertical line? It's moving. That means that we're lined up with the runway, or we're crossing the runway.
Global
Okay.
21, maintain 290 knots. Turn left heading 065.
Left to 065, level 11, excuse me, level 21. Okay, so even though we crossed the runway, I don't want to do anything rash.
Global 21, maintain 310 knots. Vectors to left base. Runway 32 right.
320 knots for level 21. You know, you don't want to do anything rash. You don't want to turn towards the runway. Oh, I know it's over there at waypoint 5, so let me just go for it. You know, you don't want to do that.
Global 21, maintain 370 knots. Turn left heading 050.
Right to, excuse me, left to 050, level 21.
Global 21, descend to 2000. Maintain 230 knots. Turn right heading 235.
Turning right to heading 235 from Lobo 21. So down to 2000, right to 235. Okay, and you know, maintain 2000. Probably too much bank angle here.
Global 21, maintain maximum forward speed. Turn right heading 255.
Right to 255 from Lobo 21. And watch the airspeed. This is why it's important to just, you know how to fly the plane. Basically, you know, takeoffs and landings and things like that. So when you get in these conditions, you're just focusing on navigating and not trying to learn how to fly the plane while you're in this insanely stressful situation. Okay, so 255. We're at 2,000 feet, and I think he's
Global
something
21,
like 250.
maintain 250 knots. Turn right heading 260.
Right to 260, level 21. And you can see that horizontal line come down. That's the glide slope, and the vertical line represents the runway threshold. Okay, so we won't worry about those for now because you know we're not aligned yet.
Global 21, turn right, final approach course 325. Check speed.
Right to final approach course 325, Lobo 21. Okay, so that's the thing that you want to hear is turn right to final approach, because you know that you are now lined up with the runway. And at this point, start following the needles, okay? If the needle goes down, that means you need to go lower. If the needle's centered, that means you're right on center line. I'm going to go ahead and select gear down. And you hear that tone? That's the outer marker, or that actually might be the middle marker. And you want to make sure that you are not in drift correction off. You want to make sure you're in normal mode here. Oh, actually, you know what? We'll fly the ILS approach with it with correction off, and then when we actually get on final and we have visual on the runway, we will turn it back on. Okay, so 500 feet is my go around. So on this radar altitude here, if at 500 feet I don't see the runway, I'm just going to go around. Just keep following those needles. Runway slightly to the left. Okay, so now that we just broke out of the clouds, we have visual, and there's our runway 32 right. Okay, so now at this point I'm not flying an ILS approach anymore. I'm just flying a visual approach on that runway. Okay, so now I want to start thinking about, okay, 3 down in green. I don't usually extend the speed brakes in conditions like this because it's really windy. Okay, so when I take this off, you'll see just how much wind we have. I mean, that's off the scale there. So I'm just gonna go visual on the runway here and just crab the nose to the right. I'll show you a flyby here. Show you what the aircraft's doing. And that's the inner marker, and that's just telling us that we are in the inner part of the runway here, so getting really close to the runway. Okay, so I'm going to keep my speed up. A lot of turbulence here, and I'm just going to flare